President Falls, members of the Harvard Corporation and the Board of Overseas, members of the faculty, proud parents, and above all, graduates. The first thing I would like to say is thank you. Not only has Harvard given me an extraordinary honor, but the weight of fear and nothing I have ever endured, and the thought of giving this compliment have made me lose weight. A win-win situation. Now all I have to do is take deep breaths, win at the right partners, and convince myself that I am the world's largest referendarian. Delivering a commitment expresses a great responsibility, or so I thought, until I cast my mind back to my own graduation. The commencement speaker that day was the distinguished British philosopher Baroness Marie Warner. Reflecting on her speech has helped me enormously in writing this one, because it turns out that I can remember a single word he said. This liberating discovery enables me to proceed without any fear that I might inadvertently influence you to abandon promising careers in business, the law, or politics, for the greater delights of becoming a right wizard. You see, if you remember in years to come is the great wizard, I have come out ahead Baroness Marilyn Guano. Achievable goals, the first step to self-improvement. Actually, I have wrapped my mind and heart for what I ought to say to you today. I have asked myself what I wish I had known at my own graduation, and what important lesson I have learned in 21 years that have expired between that day and this. I have come up with two answers. On this wonderful day when we are gathered together to celebrate your academic success, I have decided to talk to you about the benefits of failure. As you stand on the threshold in the threshold of what sometimes called real life, I want to extol the crucial importance of imagination. It may seem twisted or paradoxical choices, but be with me. At 21 years old, that I was at graduation, is slightly uncomfortable experience for the 42 years old that it has become. Half my lifetime ago, I was striking an uneasy balance between the ambition I had for myself and what the closer to me expected of me. I was convinced that the only thing I wanted to do ever was to write novels. However, my parents, part of whom came from a privileged background and neither of whom had been to college, to the view that my retail imagination was immersing personal quick that would never pay moral or skill pension. I know that it was strong with the flow of cartoon full now. So they hoped that I would take vocational degree. I wanted to study in the literature. A compromise was reached that would satisfy nobody. I went up to study modern languages. Hardly had my parents come around the corner at the end of the road that I did German. I scanned up down the classes corridor. I cannot remember telling my parents that I was studying classes. They might well have found out the first time of graduation day. Over the subjects on the planet, I think they would have been helpful. To name one last year for direct mythology when considering the kids to an executive bathroom. I would like to make it clear in parentheses that I do not blame my parents for their point of view. There is disparity, the blaming of your parents steering you in the wrong direction. The moment you are old enough to take the wheel, responsibility lies with you. What's more, I cannot criticize my parents for being that would never experience poverty. They have been poor themselves, and have seen being poor, acquire a real wisdom. Does not ennobling experience. Poverty interferes and dread and sometimes direction. It means thousand paid humiliation is hardship. Climbing out of poverty by your efforts, that since there's some wisdom of efforts, and from men's desire only by fools. What I fear most myself at URA was not poverty, but failure. At URA, inspired distinct lab motivation at university, where I had spent far alone to the coffee bar writing stories, or far too little time at lectures. I had snapped for passing examinations. I died 4 years, have been the measure of success in my life. I died by my peers. I'm not enough to support that because you are young, gifted, and well educated, you have never known hardship or heartbreak. Thailand intelligence never yet inoculated anyone against the caprice, the prince, and allow for a moment to support that everyone is choice is sensitive and fruitful, privilege, and contentment. However, the fact that you are graduating from Harvard suggests that you are not very well acquainted with failure. You might be driven by the fear of failure, quite as much as desire for success. Indeed, your conception of failure might not be too far from every person's idea of success. So high, how you already belong. Ultimately, one has to decide for ourselves what constitutes failure, but the world is quite eager to give you access criteria if you let it. So I think it's far to say that by the conventional method, 7 years after my graduation day, I have failed at an epic scale. Exceptionally short like marriage had bloated, a wife was jobless, alone parents. It's possible to be more than brilliant without being hopeless. The fear that my parents had for me and that I had for myself about to come to pass, about every usual standard, are the biggest failure I knew. Now I'm not going to stand here to tell you that failure is fun. That period of my life was a dark one. I had no idea that they were going to be what the press has since presented a kind of failure tale resolution. I had no idea how far the tunnel extended for a long time, and then like the end of it were hopes rather than reality. So why do I talk about the benefits of failure? Simply because of failure means stripping away the inessential. I stopped pretending myself that I was anything other than word. I began to direct all my energy into finishing the only work that mattered to me. And really success and I never have had the determination to succeed in the one arena that I believed I truly belonged there. I was suffering because the brightest fear had been realized. I was still alive. Still had a daughter whom I adored. I had no director and big idea. And so rock bottom became the solid foundation of which I rebuilt my life. You might never fail the scale I did, but some failure in life inevitable. It's impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so consciously that you might as well have lived at all, in which case you fail by default. Failure gave me inner security that I have never attained by passing examination. Failure taught me think about myself. I could not know why. I discovered that I have a strong will and more discipline than I have suspected. I also found out that I have friends about the bright rupees. The knowledge that you have emerged wiser and stronger from setback means that you are, even after, secure in your ability to survive. You will never truly know yourself or the strength of your relationship until both have been tested by adversity. Such knowledge is true chips for that were painfully wound, and has been worth more than any qualification I never earned. So given a time turner, I would tell my 21-year-old self that personal happiness lies knowing that life is not a checklist of position or achievement. Your qualification, your CV are not your life. That you will meet many people my adore who can feel the two, life difficult and complicated, and beyond anyone's total control, and humility to know that we enable you to survive its issue. Now you might think that I chose my second team, the important of marriage become the part of life rebuilding my life, but I'm not wholly sure. Though passionately with the film, the value of pet-up story to my life gaps. I love to value imagination in my broader sense. Imagination is not unique human capacity, innovation was it not. Therefore, the founder of invention innovation is a gaply more transformative and relatory capacity, the power that enables the empathize with humans whose experiences we have never shared. The formative experiences of my life preceding Harry Potter had informed much of what subsequently brought in the books. This revelation came in the form of my earliest day jobs. Though I was loving a bright story during my lunch hours, I paid the rent in my early 20s. But working in the African Research Department amidst the international operators in London. Then my little office, I read hastily prepared letters, marking out by the total relation regimes, my men and women who were in imprisonment to inform the outside world what was happening to them. As a photograph of those who had disappeared without trace, sent to embassy by their desperate families and friends. I read testimony to the victim as a picture of their injuries. I often have written eyewitness accounts of summary trials, execution, kidnappings, and rappers. My coworker were ex-political prisoners, people who had been displaced from their homes or fled to exile because they had the terror to speak against their governments. Visited the office, including who had come to give information to try to find out what happened to they had left behind. I shall never forget the African photos victim, a young man no older than I was at the time, who had become mentally ill after an hit induced in his homeland. He trembled uncontrollably as reported into video camera about brutality inflicted upon him. He was full tolerance. I was and seemed as fragile as a child. I was given the job and asked him back to the underground station afterwards, and whose life had been shattered by rudely, took my hand with exquisite courtesy and wished me future happiness. As long as I live, I shall remember walking along an empty corridor and suddenly hearing from behind a closed door a scream of pain and horror such as I have never heard since. The door opened, and the researcher poked out her head and told me to run and my heartstrings for the young man sitting with her. So I just had forgotten the news that in retaliation for thought I was working against his considerations, my mother had been executed. Every day of my working week in my early 20s, I was reminded how incredibly fortunate I was to live in a country with democratically elected government, where representation and public trial were the rights of everyone. Every day is so more evident about the evils humankind will inflict on their fellow humans to gain or maintain power. I began to have nightmares, literal nightmares, about some of the things I saw, heard, and read. And yet, I also learned more about human godness, the Amnesty International that I have never known before. Amnesty mobilized thousands of people who had never been foretold or reason for their beliefs to act on behalf of those who have. The power of human empathy leading to collective action, save lives, and brave prisoners, ordinary people whose personal well-being and security are assured, join together in huge numbers to save people they not know and will never meet. My small participation in that process was one of the most compelling and inspiring experiences of my life. Like any other creature on this planet, humans can learn, understand, without having experience. They can think themselves into other people's places. Of course, this power, like my brand in fictional magic, more unusual, might use that ability to manipulate or control that much to understand or sympathize. Many prefer not to exercise their imagination at all. They choose to remain completely within the bounds of their own experience, never traveling to water to have feel the bond that they are. They feel to them to be inside cages. They can close their minds and hearts to any suffering that does not touch them personally. They can be feel to know. I might be tempted to invite people who can live that way. There's nothing they have fewer nightmares than do. Choosing to the narrow places that form mental aerophobia that bring in some terrors. I didn't willfully intervene to see more monsters. They are often more afraid. What's more, those choose not to empathize involve real monsters, for without committing an outright level themselves, they will rule out all empathy. One of many things I learned at the end of Placid Corridor down an adventure at the age of 18. I saw something I could not define, but is written by the Greek author Plutarch. What will change in what will shine out of reality. This is an uncensored statement, and yet proven thousands of every day of our lives. They have proven in part its connection with our world from that we touch other people live simply by sitting. But how much more are you? Have I graduated of 2008? To tell your intelligence, your capacity for hard work, action you have earned and received, your understated, your possibilities, even your nationality set your part. The right maturity of you, they are one only elemental superpower. The way you vote, the way you live, the way you practice. The person you bring bear your government have people with your borders. That is your privilege and your burden. If you choose to use your status and influence to raise your voice on behalf of those who have no voice, if you choose to identify not with powerful but with powerless, the ability to mention yourself, love those who have not your advantages, they will not be a family who separate your existence. Thousands and millions of people, reality you have changed. We don't need much to change the world. We carry the power on inside ourselves already. We have power action better. I'm nearly finished. I have one last help for you, which is something I already had 21. The friend with whom I sat at graduation day had been my friend for life. The my godparents, to whom I was able to turn time to trouble. People were kind enough not to sue me, took their name to Death Eaters. Our graduation will be by more affection, by a shared period of a time that could never come again. And of course, by then we have certain photographic evidence that would be something valuable, even if a Prime Minister. So today, I wish you nothing better than similar friendships. And tomorrow, I hope that even if you remember not a single word of mine, you remember the cynical another of the old romance I made when I let down the classic corridor in retreat, the carried ladder inside the pleasant wisdom, as the tale so like how long it is, but how good it is what matters. I wish you a very good life. Thank you very much.